Hey, so we just dropped the podcast. Make sure you go check it out. In the podcast, in and of itself, I address everything, so I want to make sure I address it here as well. And on top of that, I don't know how many people even know about the podcast. Everything broke on Twitter, so after everything has kind of been handled behind the scenes and in real life, I deemed it appropriate for me to address things now. Um, Especially because a lot of people are not aware of like maybe again like the podcast. So again, the maybe 2-3 weeks ago or maybe even a month ago at this point, my ex put out a tweet um and said that I cheated on her 4 times. I did. Also, I want to be clear as well, the tone in the podcast can easily be misinterpreted, so I want to make sure we get things straight, clear, and cut. So I don't want to like some misinterpretation of what I meant in the podcast. So in the podcast, not excuse me, not in the podcast. About a month ago, my ex put out a tweet, um, highlighted that I cheated on her 4 times. Not only am I here to confirm it, but also take some form of accountability. Uh, I know how like the internet can be as well, so I want to be clear, not only directly to you all about it, but also letting people know that be better than me. Do not do the same thing I did. It's wrong. It's bad. These are some of the talking points that I talk about in the podcast as well. But again, I want to make sure the tone is not is addressed appropriately. But also, because I see some of the replies and stuff like that, um, I'm not going to go into details or try to justify anything that I did because I see a lot of people saying it. There is no justification for what I did. It's not as if like I want people to believe like there's any right or wrong reasons to do what I did. It was just wrong. Like there's no excuse for it. So there's just things that you should not do whatsoever. Also, I want to make it clear to everyone else as well, especially because how much it comes across. If I end up blocking you moving forward, it's mainly because it's coming across as if like you're making a mockery of someone that I was in a relationship with. Um, as well as like somebody that I was growing with. So I don't want it to come across as like you're mocking that person or mocking our relationship that was very real and serious. Because like I said in the podcast, this is my first and only like real relationship. So as I address it and as I kind of move forward, especially if it kind of gets redundant with some of the spam, I don't even want it to feel as if like I come across like y'all are making a mockery of the woman that I was in a relationship with, or making a mockery of the relationship in general, because the relationship was real. The woman I was in a relationship with um, is not on her. There's nothing to blame. She did a great job. She did what she's supposed to do in the relationship. Um, Things of that. Like I don't want it to come across as if like there's any justification or finger pointing or anything like that. Nor do I want it to make it seem as if like um, on my end or behind the scenes that we taking it lightly. It's the reason why it's taking this long to address it publicly, quote unquote publicly, mainly just because like this is real life. We dealing with it, ups and downs, trials and tribulations, like real things are happening. So I can't just stop what I'm doing to address you all because it's something like real emotions are affected and impacted by this. Um so yeah, so I don't want to make it seem as look like if my tone was misinterpreted, or even like my tone on Twitter, or even with me semi allowing you all to get the memes off. I understand y'all getting y'all jokes off and stuff like that. However, I do take it very, very, very serious. I take it all serious. With that being said, as I continue to say, and I always will say, do better, be better. I'm gonna be better myself, do better, continue to grow as a man, as a person. In the relationship, I would appreciate if you respect her space, especially because it's someone that I would still consider a friend of mine beyond the relationship and beyond what we have moving forward. I still respect her and who she is as a person. So I'm expecting you all to do as well. I understand that everybody can't do that, but I do expect that some form of respect out of that. And if anything, if you all are going to say something, just throw it all at me because once more, it's not as if like anything that I did was justifiable or things of that nature. Um, and what else? Because I do, yeah, especially because I just wanted to be clear cut and understood that that I don't think that she certainly doesn't deserve what happened to her in real life, but also doesn't deserve any of the response or backlashes that many of you all have been given or things that have been said behind the scenes as well on IG or even anything on my part as well that could be misinterpreted. So I don't want to make it come across like I'm just glossing it over and acting as if like it's not real or it's fake or I'm just taking light of it. No, we just kind of handling it behind the scenes in real life. So if it seems like I'm trying to avoid it, it's not that I'm trying to avoid it. We are addressing it in real life, and now me telling you all in a very serious, light and manner to just respect what everything is going on. Hold on, let me give me a second. Yo,
No, we
I
can't. We
guess.
can hear you now. It was taking a long time. It was moving real slow.
Is it still kind of laggy?
Good
Unless you
now.
only brought up just me and Hala, then yes. Oh well.
Okay. Um, what do you? Any responses coming from my brother, my blood brother? Any responses?
You know, I am I allowed to ask the questions that the community would like to know?
Hold on. Well, but if any of the questions are deemed disrespectful, obviously I'm gonna deny answering them. The same way I did the same thing on the podcast. So if they come across as disrespectful, then I'm gonna say pass.
Mm, that's fairly valid. Hala, do you want to go before I go?
Nah, he want his blood brother to go first. So you know what I'm saying. Get in your bag, my
I'm not gonna
man.
get in my. I'm not gonna get in my bag. I said this before. Although I do think that my brother does try to paint me in a light, specifically from a relationship standpoint, publicly on the internet. I will not be the one to do that. However, I just want to ask: are you still with her?
What do you mean, like in a relationship or we broke up?
What?
What do you mean? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know. I just said the same thing. You talking about? Am I still with her, like physically around her, or with her in a
Are you
relationship?
in a relationship with her?
No, I am not. I am no longer in a relationship. However, I still think that this space, this conversation is still necessary because I don't want it to come across as if like I'm no longer with her, so it's fine to just talk about her or anything about it just freely. Because at the end of the day, I still respect the relationship. I still respect the who she is as a person, as a woman. So it's not as if like I want to just like leave it high and dry. You know what I'm saying? Like I still want to make sure that's still set in stone.
Okay. Um, and then I guess for those that looked up to you from your words about relationships and handling uh, relationships on the peer to peer podcast, playback, any other platform or whatever, your message to them is the same message that you just had in general, which is be better than me.
Not trying to make excuses for it. Again, I said this on a podcast as well. Not to make excuses for it, but just to put things in its proper perspective. This is my first relationship, and I do like real relationship. This is my first real relationship, and I do believe being transparent that in many ways, um, me not prioritizing or being capable of handling aspects of it, this could definitely let that aided the result to it. So any type of advice to the people or any type of I guess w- wise words is just be honest with yourself, be truthful to who you are, communication in a relationship is key. Um, my stance on cheating still is the same. It's not going to change. It's always going to be that. That's never ever going to change. So, what I did was wrong. I will always view it as wrong. It's not going to change whatsoever. Um, so, and to directly answer the question, just be better, do better, and grow from my bad decisions, as I know that I will grow from my bad decisions. So that would be that.
I think you should have these conversations privately with like your younger cousins that specifically look up to you. I've had to have these conversations, and I don't know how to answer these questions. But yeah,
On my behalf, or just in a general sense.
in on your behalf.
Oh, oh, you got to text me to say which ones. I'll call them tonight.
All right, all right.
I'll call them tonight.
That's all I got. That's all I got. I'm not gonna.
Today's Friday, right?
Today they don't. I mean, they out of school anyway, so
Oh yeah, it is right. Yeah, I'll call them today.
yeah.
Like what I don't know if you answered this on the podcast, but like when it hit the internet, like what went through your mind like when that happened?
Um, well, when it hit the internet, I kind of sort of didn't know. It was kind of delayed from everybody, and I had a lot of things to do that day. But you know, I was a bit split, but I know for a fact like I can't be upset at business being shared because I'm the one who provided the business that could be shared. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't be upset that that happened because understandably so, if that's how she felt, that's how she felt. She was justified in feeling that way, and so I can't be mad at her because I'm the one who pushed her to that. You know what I'm saying? Pushed her to that state. So that's, I mean, at the end of the day, it's on me. Like if I ain't do it, like then that would never even happen. You know what I'm saying? So I can't really blame nobody but myself. So I just gotta just take what comes along with that. Um, and obviously, that first day or two, and that first day, I really didn't even really, it really didn't hit me until later on, which is why I was what you calling it as well. Um, and so when everything kind of happened, that's when it kind of got established. Like, excuse me, when everything happened, I just kind of dealt with it like that. But that was an ongoing question that people had, is if like I was upset. Not really. Like I can only be upset at myself, type shit.
What kind of like changed in your mind from like like the thoughts that you had like before like your relationship about cheating and like the moment well, I see I don't want to get too deep into it, but like the moment when those incidents happen. Like do you feel like there was a change in your mind or it was just like a like fuck it like moment?
What?
Like so you obviously clearly thought like cheating's bad, you shouldn't do this, but in the moment when like these things happen, like what do you think the change in your mind was to like go through with it? I don't know if
I
you want to answer that, but like yeah.
no, I think it was more so me just trying to justify bad decisions in some capacities. Um, yeah, I just think it was me trying to justify bad decisions because even in a moment I still thought it was bad. But just me trying to justify what I was like wrongdoings, knowing that it was just wrong. Um, and so, and also I want to, and the other reason why, to answer the going back to the other question that you had, Hala, another reason why I really wasn't that upset with her is because of the amount of time and also the timeline. Like this is something that we've been dealing with in our relationship. So it was like for like a year ago, and so it was something that kind of built up to where we are right now. So she had already been, handling it and stuff like that. So this is something like I wasn't upset because it's not as if like we weren't trying and growing from it. I just kind of fucked it up myself. So I can't really blame nobody else but me, type shit.
Can I ask questions that I know the answer to, but they don't?
Okay.
So you cheated. You cheated before this last time where there was a hair in the bed.
Uh, here in the sink, but yes.
Hair in the sink. Okay, cool. So and you said you were dealing with it for a year. So you cheated a year ago, and then
Yeah,
the most recent time.
Yeah, we went through therapy and all that stuff. We talked it out, talked to a pastor and stuff like that. Kind of went through the path. And just along the way, I probably should have went to therapy individually too, honestly, just from an individual standpoint, instead of couples therapy. So um yeah, so it was like an ongoing thing. Like it's something that we were going through. I was going through. So it's something that I was attempting to grow from already, but probably should have probably should have taken either therapy or communication or some form of growth all the way through, um, before it kind of ended in that result.
Was it because she was your like fiance at one point, right?
No,
Oh.
no. The fiance thing was just us trolling on a podcast. That's all.
See, I ain't gonna lie, bro, because I remember like you used to call her your fiance, and you started calling her your girlfriend. I was like, I
How
wonder
did
what
how did
happened.
she go from wifey material to where we are today?
I guess would be what I did. Are you asking wife material in terms of like the troll, the marriage troll, or the
I
fiance
don't.
troll? Or you
I
just
was like,
talking about
I
in
don't think it
general
was
sense?
the troll. I think there was conversations where it was noted that she was wifey material, but now we're here today. So how did that happen?
Oh, okay. I thought you were piggybacking off of
No, no, no,
Hala.
no, no, no. We
Um,
ride side by side, not piggyback.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't want to. I
Twin.
don't want to. I don't want to answer that because it comes across. I don't want to try to justify. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to justify what I did because if I answer anything like that, it may come across like, oh, so that's why you did it. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we got to this point because I put us at this point. Like that's just what it is.
Was
That's
it
how we got
somebody
to
who
this
knew
point.
your social media or no?
I don't know.
Okay, that is probably no then. Probably.
Um, but hold on, give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. All right, I'm back. I'm back. I'm back.
You were speaking.
Oh no, no, my bad. I was what was I talking about?
I mean, you ain't really getting to anything. You just finna start saying something, and then you just stop.
I can't remember. All I'm
It
saying
was you
was,
just said you didn't want to justify it.
yeah, I didn't want to. I don't want to come across like I'm justifying what I did. We were in a situation because of me. That's kind of it.
Was it like the year went by after it happened and it was just like I can't do this no more,
Say it
or
again.
was it like a was it, if it happened a year ago, like the year that preceded that or since then, it was just like I can't handle this no more type thing, or was it like a mutual like this probably just isn't best for the both of us?
Oh wait, how, let me make sure you understand that the last time was not a year ago. You understand that that was recent.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
all four times was like
No, no,
last
no,
year.
no, 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 no,
It was one person.
no, no, no.
Oh,
Four times, four different people.
Yes.
were any of them? Never mind.
No,
I,
ask the question. Ask the question. If you don't
the
want to ask it,
question
I'll
that
ask it.
people want to know are they all melanated queens? That's what that's what people want to know.
Yeah, yes, they're black. Well, hold on.
Holla, good. Yeah.
All right. I but uh
Go ahead.
no, no, no. I know. I said yo, it is, but I don't because I know Holland's asking for the people, but also like that's kind of like a you know what I'm saying. Like I don't want people to be like, oh, they black, so then that makes it okay. Like you know what I'm saying.
No,
Like I don't.
no, no, no. I just think people were wondering like if it was.
Yeah, but you know how people are though. Because if I say they're white, they're like, oh, that's really bad. But hey, man, at least they black. I don't want nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want it to come
So then
across.
let me ask then. Let me ask then. I mean, and not making it about you. What you did is deplorable. What are you happy that the situation is where it is now? not the relationship per se, but now that you've got it out in the air and open and stuff like that, the fact that you're no longer in a relationship, because I think a lot of people would say that cheating is a sign of not wanting to be in the relationship. So, are you
I'm not.
happy?
I'm not. I'm not happy because somebody I was in a relationship and I had love for and I still love got hurt in the process. You know what I'm saying? Like even if you want to say that I must have been this miserable person, I still wanted to be in a relationship. It's not as if like it's not as if like it's kind of hard to explain, but I'm not happy how it ended because I know for a fact that I did something that damaged another person, another individual, someone that I loved and cared for, that I have a good portion of my life a part of. Like that person is damaged because of me.
What do you think it was like idle time? Like you just had time on your hands, or like
Uh, yeah, you can say that.
I don't know. Yeah, that's all I got that I want to ask on the Twitter space. But
so
calling.
if it was I don't want to like be that guy. So it was four people, like four different people. What is the Kroger thing like valid?
Yes, yes, it was somebody at Kroger. Yes,
Okay.
No, like,
but Omar, text me. I'm assuming I know who it is, but just text me just in case, because I definitely want to call whoever it is before it gets too late.
What,
um,
I guess like a perspective question, like what was like did any of the comments get to you, and if so, like what were the ones like that
this nigga
level?
Holla is crazy.
No, I'll answer that question. And this is why I wanted to be very clear and kind of I had to be very I had to do my due diligence dealing with everything. It got to me because not because of necessarily me per se, right? Because I mean, I hop on the internet and niggas, make fun of me and mock me and call me fat like literally all the time. But I don't want like I said, it's more so about the relationship and the woman I was in a relationship with. I don't want that to be misconstrued. I don't want that to be made a mockery of. I don't want my tone and the way I address it to be misconstrued. And so then I also have to be like cognizant of if this is happening, right? Like if this is what's going on, how is she interpreting it? How is she reading into it? How does she feel about it? Like I have to just be aware of all that. And so I'm more so trying to. It affected me because I didn't want it to affect her, and um, I definitely didn't want her to like feel some type of way because I just know that's just how the internet kind of works. So I was more so on edge in the first like week, not because of me, because if it was me, I think I have a better way of controlling and managing my emotional outburst or the way that I may feel about certain things or how I interpret things. But I kind of can't control what she reads and how she interprets things, and me being kind of like always aware and on edge of like trying to figure out like I hope that it's not too bad. And then also it kind of goes beyond as well as what's going on like now and between me and her, because obviously because I am a public figure, once this stuff kind of gets out, people make other comments, post videos about it. So then even people outside of my direct control or indirect control, like family members and friends and stuff like that, get along to it. Like Omar just said, like even part of my family as well, her family, friends of hers, people that she hadn't talked to in years, like stuff like that, like it spread it out pretty quickly. And so now like it's hard to explain, but like yeah, I can't it's more so I was on edge because of all the things that I knew that I could not directly impact or how the information got to them, and then how was it getting to her and how she's reading it. So I'm more so I was more so on edge on that end because of how much of a ripple effect everything kind of had, if that makes sense.
Do you feel like you can speak on relationships going forward? Um,
Um, yeah, because everything is just based off of experience. You know, um, after this relationship, I can without a doubt say I've experienced a lot. I like without a doubt I've experienced a lot, and it's something that I'm going to use beyond this relationship to continue to make me a better person in a relationship, a better man. And even this goes. And I want to be clear. Yeah, this actually goes. So to answer the question directly, yes. The reason why is because of the experiences gained from it, what I've learned from it, what I'm going to utilize it to make me a better person in my life. And that goes beyond me being in a relationship, just even the way that I handle myself beyond our relationship now moving forward in the future, whatever, how I handle other people, how I handle my business, how I handle my time, how I handle my emotions. There's so many things that I've gained in the relationship that I do believe are tools in which I could make me a better person moving forward. I just got to implement it, execute. That's all.
What were the different, like, so you had obviously what you thought relationships were before your relationship. Like, what are some of the things that like you felt like were different, like once you got into a relationship?
Um, Probably the three biggest things that I've learned is sacrificing, emotional intelligence and emotional availability, and perspective. Those are probably the three biggest things that when you single, you don't have to really be emotionally intelligent to anyone because it's like you just run your own life. There's no real need for me to sacrifice, and to an extent, the way I've lived my life up until me being in a relationship, I haven't really needed to sacrifice for really anyone.
yeah,
And
I agree.
oh my god, okay, Omar. And through the process of me growing as a person, it was never really a need for me to sacrifice because throughout my life, the lack of sacrificing for other people, just it was all justifiable because it put me in positions to change my life and other people's lives around me in ways in which I could never dream of. So the lack of sacrificing time and energy and emotion to other people was all justifiable in my mind. Now I could be wrong in that way because I'm pretty sure there are family members and loved ones and friends who wish they could just spend more time with me in general. But in my mind, I'm thinking all of the lack of me sacrificing for those people is justifiable. But when you're in a relationship, like sacrificing the level of which sacrificing, you got to be very aware, attentive, and do your due diligence to make it clear to the other person what's there and what's not there. A lot of which is just emotional intelligence. Um, in some instances, I would borderline call myself a sociopath because I just lacked empathy in many ways, just because that's just I don't know if that's a man thing or that's just a me thing. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. And then perspective, like I have to, when doing things, I have to like be aware of how it's being interpreted or do things. I got to make sure I'm aware of what the other person in a relationship, what their viewpoint of it is, how it affects that person, how they can react, respond to what I'm doing, and how it best benefits them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Um, what's it called? Dang, I just had the question. Oh shit. Oh. So, you said loved. I wanted to know after the first time that you cheated and got caught cheating, did you still like slash love her, or did you definitely feel like the relationship dynamic changed, but you just wanted to hang on?
No, to this day, I love Tierra. You know,
Oh, I didn't know you were saying her name.
So
I
did they
mean, yeah,
you
I
brought
get.
them? This is the thing that like blew me. I ain't gonna lie. You brought them to your crib.
Yeah, and I do
Oh
think
my
that
god.
I do believe that right there. Not only like beyond cheating, that's like in a general sense, I tend not to do that. That's definitely uncharacteristic of me. Um, yeah, and
Did any of them like care? Like, because obviously when they walked in here, they had to know like a woman lived there. Did they not like mention it? They was like, nah.
um, it was well, it was one. It was just out of the three, it was one, and I'm assuming she didn't care. I'm assuming she didn't. And wait, let me go back because Omar asked me did the dynamic change? I think it changed. I think the dynamic maybe not for me. Um, no, I guess it was for me as well. I think the dynamic changed between both of us once we were kind of going through counseling and growing in that dynamic because I don't. It's kind of hard to kind of go back to the same how things were before, if that makes sense, right? So it's kind of hard to go back, especially when you're dealing with things and trying to grow from it. I still think there was love there, and I think my interpretation of what it means to love someone and what it means to care for someone and trying to be there for someone. If I have to be completely transparent, maybe I wasn't fully aware of the depths in which that means, and to be completely honest with you, Omar, maybe I still don't. Maybe I genuinely still don't to this day. I would probably say I don't because I mean, if I cheated, then I clearly don't understand the depths of it. You know what I'm saying? So, um, I in me just being transparent and honest, probably I don't, and maybe that takes more learning and growth from me. Um,
Are you gonna go to therapy? And
yeah,
did you cheat while you were in therapy?
say it again.
Are you going to go to therapy as an individual?
Hmm.
And did you cheat while you were in therapy?
No, did not cheat while we were in therapy. Yes, I am going to go to therapy as an individual. Um, and to the love to kind of wrapping up the other question that you had. Um, damn, I was kind of stuck. Oh yeah, okay. But when I say the depths of what it actually means to love someone, I still believe like right now I still love Tierra. It's just the fact that I need to figure out better ways and understand ways to just execute on that in a much more healthy and positive way for both of us. And I'm saying that as if like I'm in a relationship with her, but even in terms of a dynamic of us just talking casually as a friend, there are ways in which because I think Omar, you could probably even attest to this as well. The way that I even talk to other people, the way that I handle certain people that I would consider are friends or I have some form of relationship with, maybe there is, like I said before, a lack of empathy there. Maybe there isn't enough sacrificing in that capacity. Or am I wrong in that way?
Say the last part again. You saying that you don't have empathy for people?
I say that I think going, so this is going to the whole where you said, did things change in terms of loving Tierra, loving her? I'm saying it didn't change. I'm just saying maybe I just didn't know how to execute it properly. Maybe I don't understand the depths of it so I can execute on it. And so then I'm also saying beyond, I don't want to make it seem like we're still in a relationship. It's not because this is going beyond a relationship. The way that I manage intimate relationship, the way I just manage relationships in general, maybe lacking empathy or not empathetic, or maybe I'm not.
Nah, that's a fact. Cause you want me to, and I'm glad you brought it there. I'm glad you brought it there.
Okay. Oh wow.
Since no.
And but also I said not sacrificing enough for empathetic to other people's, da da da. But go ahead, go. What you about to say?
No. Cause mind you, and these are the parts that I don't feel like because for me it's just it is what it is. But it's known and it's documented. You've been in several spaces like you and I together, and you've talked about it might have been a joke. Sometimes I definitely think it was serious, but you've even had these conversations in real life where you've criticized me and chastised me about my proceedings in relationships, specifically as being like a younger male. Um, and it almost seemed like you didn't have the ability to give grace for like some of my actions, or could not empathize with me and some of my decision making.
When what can you give me an example, or do you want to give me an example? Do you feel comfortable giving me an example?
For sure, you talked about maybe this was a couple months ago. You talked about the time where I had you. drive to
In the
pick up.
trunk. In the
Yeah,
trunk.
yeah. He ended up in the trunk when we went
Are
to
you
go
talking
watch a
about when
movie.
we were minors? Is that what you're talking about?
Right, but the way you came in that space, and even the conversations that we've had in real life, like it's very a lacking of empathy or understanding as to somebody who is young in a relationship could go about things the way they go about things.
Okay. I guess we can just talk about it often because I understand what you and maybe this is just me lacking empathy again, but
Mm.
So if somebody had to ask you like, yo, like, so why'd you do it? Like, what would you say?
um I also answered this on the podcast, but I'll reiterate. I just think I mismanage a lot of aspects of a relationship, mismanage the lows, mismanaged communication, um, mismanaged being understandable. I think there's just aspects of a relationship that I kind of took for granted, not understanding the true complexities behind it, if that makes sense. Like just not thoroughly understanding and digesting what it takes to be in a relationship in some ways, and just being able to really understand and comprehend the highs and lows and how to address really both aspects because and I keep and you know what's so crazy, I keep saying mismanaging the lows, but I think in some ways the lows throughout our relationship, but I feel like in some ways I also mismanage the highs because I think there's ways in which you can when you are in a, up and up in a relationship, how to capitalize on that and make it a more impactful, fulfilling, and long lasting part of your relationship, right? So like an example, like I personally don't like to travel, right? But I think there were moments where I think that we were both having good moments in our relationship, and I believe the best way to capitalize it in that is to make moments, even if it isn't traveling per se, but just making moments in our relationship and being there and building a better emotional connection with what was going on. I think those are all things that could be a part about it.
Would you consider yourself a hypocrite, based off of your
Yes,
words? Okay, okay. All right.
So like,
yes, I think I do. I am.
were the other? So obviously, like the last one that came to the house was caught obviously because the hair in the sink. But like, how did the other ones get found out about?
Text through my phone.
Like your
And
girl went through your phone, or like it popped up on like iCloud or something like
yeah, it
that.
basically just popped up. And also, I also want to say because another thing that I want to make sure is clear that um because I think some people was also saying like she was there for the clout and stuff like that or for money or anything of those natures. No, actually I do believe that the woman I was in a relationship was genuine. I do believe she was real. I don't think that she was in it for um any type of like financial gain or anything like that. I do believe I was in a genuine relationship. I don't there was never a moment I'll be completely transparent and say there was never a moment in the relationship where I felt as if like she's in it because she's just trying to be around. You know what I'm saying? That actually never ever dawned upon me. Yeah, it never dawned upon me if that was like in play or anything like that. Especially because even when I met her, it's not like she was doing nothing. She was already she kind of had her own stuff going on. When I first met her, she was in her own house and stuff like that. She had her own business, so it's not as if like I was like scrapping for like some nuances or understanding in our relationship. In our relationship, I felt very, very confident. And the reason why I highlight that is because I think that's very key in many ways as well.
So so you were like boo loving texting, like y'all were having like conversations.
Yeah.
You're 80, nigga.
Oh my god,
What
leave.
did boo love and texting? Are you gonna tap in with the women in your life?
Who, me?
Yes.
What do you
I think
what
I
do you
think the I think the women in your life could give you a lot of perspective It's about how to treat women. So, are you going to
Mm.
tap in more with the women in your life?
You had to text me which ones are you talking about.
All the women. You got women. What? You've had family member that's women.
I know, but one of them knows, and I talked to her about it. So that's what I'm saying. Which one? That's what I'm asking.
Is
Which
your goal
one?
to get back in this relationship?
My primary goal is to be better. My primary goal is to be better.
So in the
And
like,
and honestly, if that leads me back to being in a relationship with her once more, by all means, I'll be up for it.
so
I'll be
now
up
that
for it.
now that you're like in this single space, has it crossed your mind since you've been single to like double back on any of the four?
No, because I still I view all of it as mistakes. Those are all things that I don't want to have nothing to do with it. I'm detaching myself from those women. I don't talk to them. I don't have their number. I don't want to participate. I don't want none of them in my life. And John asked me kind of a similar question of like what's next for me post everything, and it's just gonna be the same, grinding, working on myself, becoming a better man. I'm not trying to like rush to be back in another relationship or anything like that. I'm I think I'm aware enough to know that, um like, clearly there's growth that still needs to be done before I get into another relationship, regardless if it's with, my ex or not. Like, there's still some form of growth that needs to be done. So I'm not gonna just rush into it, and the growth kind of just has to start with me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not looking to do much of anything with anyone else outside of just being a better man. If that makes
And
sense.
let me say this. I'm not saying tap in with the women in your life, as in go tell them that you cheated and then look for a now what. But just learn perspective from them by being around them, serving them, listening to them, hearing them. Um,
Irving gets crazy. I ain't gonna cut.
But that's what I'm saying. You may have
that's
to
okay.
ask. You might have to. I'm not saying that I do or don't do that, but I'm assuming there is. I guess I'll talk to you after.
Do you think like some of the like problems you ran into in your relationship like stemmed from not like having like regular free like female friendships?
I think they just happen without having that much experience with real relationships.
So
If
you
that,
would
I
note that a fault in this is that you didn't have prior relationships before this.
That, and also even the relationships that I had, because Hollis said, female friends. I just think in general, like Omar kind of alluded to, just relationships in general. Not having to like really prioritize that in my life. Like, just going through life, there's like, for the better part of the last, like, I would say 6 to 7 years, 6 to 8 years, there's just never really, outside of like family. And even then, I think I would argue, and I also think my brother would argue, that I kind of mismanaged or dropped the ball in some capacities in that realm as well. But there just really was no incentive for me to really be in any type of serious relationship, or gain serious relationships with people, regardless if it's friends or an intimate one. Like, there just wasn't any, because once more, I'm already like struggling to manage like the friendships in which I have. Like, for the most part, in terms of like friends, outside of the people like I do YouTube with, bro, the friends that I have are the same ones that I came up with after I graduated high school. Like, that's more or less it. Even when I went to my high school reunion, bro, those people I have not talked to in like 10 years. Even when I see people like somebody DM me on Facebook a few years ago about, oh yeah, I went to college with you and da da da. Da," it's not like I responded to him at all. Like, it's just like, it's whatever. I don't really care about what you think I have going on or whatever. And I think some of that also has to just do with, especially, with me believing that that's probably the best way to just go about doing it. And then also, because again, I believe that it justifying the mean, but then also you kind of get to a point where, you kind of feel like, the only way that I can kind of sustain this level of success, or this trajectory in which I'm going on, is by just continue to ignore people, because that's how I got here. I kind of got here ignoring and mismanaging people because I didn't aid myself in, but it's all just, I think y'all get what I'm saying. It's all just balancing friendships, relationships, work, life. I think the other thing I've definitely, without a doubt, mismanaged in the past like 8 years is my health, um, which I am on my weight loss journey. That's a part of me getting better as a person, as a man. So all that kind of goes along with it. I just got to and also I think even for somebody who I believe I've accomplished a lot with my time, I think I mismanage time a lot of times as well. I mismanage my time a lot of times as well. I mean, even admittedly, me being in spaces sometimes with y'all could be a mismanage of time because I know there's a lot more things that have to be focused on. If that all makes sense. So
I think
yeah.
like I think developing like, and the reason I asked the female friendship question is like, I learned you'll learn a lot about female perspective by being friends with people who are in other relationships. That's where I learned a lot. Or even like sometimes it's hard for dudes to even ask the right question to get the right answer. Like they can't get the right answer because they don't know the right question. So I think like getting female friends will help you, like even if you don't return to your girlfriend later on in life, to how to ask the right questions to get to the right answer with your next partners. That's why I asked about the female friendship thing.
Yeah, I hear you, Holly. Here, let me bring up someone else. Oh damn, I thought NLZ was gonna come up. Hold on. In terms of the female, yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying, and maybe that's just something I never like thought about, kind of entertaining, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? I never thought about entertaining it.
Yeah. Were you surprised at like some of the ways like people talked on like once the information came out?
Not really. From who though?
Anybody? Was there anybody like, dang, I didn't think you would go this hard, or dang, I would thought this person would have went crazy? Like, was there anybody that like anything that surprised you?
No, no, no. I don't believe so. I don't. I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't. I don't know. I didn't. I really. I don't know because I really wasn't that concerned with. I really wasn't concerned with me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel what you're
You know what I'm
saying.
saying? I'm very serious, and maybe that's also like a problem with me. Like, I don't really, I didn't really like think to myself, "Hey, yo, let me take a break for a second and check on me," if that makes sense. So I've never really stepped back and like thought to myself like, "Damn, he went real hard. He shouldn't have said X Y Z and da 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 da." You know what I'm saying? It just never dawned on me, if that makes sense.
What you said about relationships is key. I'm not saying that I'm perfect, but I do feel like you could use working on your relationships with others that don't just include business partners or whatever the case may be.
Hmm.
Very valid points. Very valid points.
Your real talk.
What's up, Lo? So I heard you talk about like
That boy in the
yeah, I'm
whip.
in the car right now. You already know. I heard you talk about using your time more efficiently and whatnot. So it's like what changes are you looking to make with that time? Are there like anything in particular you plan on doing, or have you even landed on specific things that you're trying to do with this idle time?
Probably one of the biggest things that always kind of like push my anxiety. Well, so for starters, I don't know if people know this, but on the podcast, today's podcast is the last podcast that we're uploading. We're ending it, and part of the reason why is because scheduling and agent didn't want to do it, and kind of just always kind of handling everyone with scheduling and stuff like that. So to kind of go back to that question, part of what I'm like really addressing is just scheduling myself. I personally I hate scheduling myself because I believe that's kind of the benefit of kind of working for yourself and being maybe not your own boss, but being having the flexibility of having a job that I have. But then, um, I also quickly realized the benefits of it as well, right? So there's like benefits of having scheduling, and the more and more I kind of just put on my plate, the more and more I realize how quickly things can be mismanaged just simply because I didn't schedule things correctly. So then, especially, and also I think I'm like a chronic procrastinator as well. But then I'm what I'm really starting to realize, especially because I got a couple things knocked out today. If I just like kind of step back, breathe, and then time myself, or like kind of get on things, I can schedule myself really, really, really well. And then what I'm gonna do with the extra time, definitely, especially now that the podcast is no longer, definitely take, like I said before, my health a bit more seriously. Um, Kind of organize things in my life. Like both Omar and Hala said, involve other people in my life from a relationship standpoint, because I do want to participate in relationships with other people, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like I want to also be there for cousins, uncles, aunts, friends, family. So also kind of inserting that in with my time as well, and then just becoming more consistent with my work and my job, and kind of uploading and growing and building, and all those things.
And outside of using idle time more efficiently, um, do you think that there's a like a working on resisting temptations kind of a problem?
um it could be, for sure. That could be a problem. I think a lot of that though can be resolved and addressed in therapy though. But I think also, before I go to therapy, I do need to like be completely honest with myself, because I think the only way that therapy can really work is if, like, you're honest with who you are, what you need to say as a person, so the therapist can kind of get to the bottom of like what's going on. I can't go into therapy still kind of either being in denial, or not being completely honest with myself. So I think there is a lot of time that needs to be set for self reflection. And I can't remember if you or Hala asked me the question that kind of like had me pause on that, but I haven't really done enough of that, to be quite honest with you. I haven't done enough of that before I can like kind of execute on fully growing. I think I've done a lot of self reflecting on myself outside of um, what happened, but I think there does need to be time for me to like sit back and reflect on the relationship as a whole. Like 2.5 years, I have to like really just sit back and reflect on it as a whole, because then that's going to allow me to, like, when I do enter therapy, kind of like sit down and talk, have someone, or even not even just therapy, like even like Omar said, like talking with other people in my life, using the resources that are already in my life. And so when questions are asked or conversations are being had, um, those things can be addressed in an honest manner, so I can get to a real conclusion that needs to be gained.
See, that's the thing about therapy, though. Like, that it is going to help you get to that self reflection. Like, I don't think you have to self reflect before you go to therapy, because, like I said earlier, like most of the time it's because people aren't asking the right question, and a lot of times like your therapist can guide you to asking yourself the right question to get to like why all these things happen. So I wouldn't wait, but I mean, obviously, if that's what you're more comfortable with, then. But like, I would start like therapy. I don't think you should wait to do it.
I think your mental health should be straight. As long as you're good with your mental health, that should be number one priority. Because um, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know the full reason why you went ahead and cheated, but I'll just say this: it's unfortunate, but everybody does make mistakes, and you just got to build off of that. Um, but yeah, make sure that your mental health is straight going forward. Like just because I know that's just not with a huge platform that you already have. Like it's for sure not easy, and I know people are gonna say like cheating is no one. I don't agree with it. I'm pretty sure most people here don't agree with it, but it happens a lot, and I expect it to happen a lot, especially with our generation because of the way we're brought up. But you know, for you, when we talk about going to therapy and stuff like that, make sure that you're in the right mindset because it's a lot to, like you said, there's a lot you're trying to build and trying to do going forward. So before you take another step, you kind of just want to take a step back and just look at what you have and try to like you say you don't like scheduling yourself, but just trying to get balance or some stuff like that. But yeah, really just main thing is making sure your mental is good. That's what I would say.
I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
I will no longer be in BBU then. Nigga
Yeah,
will
yeah,
not
yeah,
be
yeah,
in
yeah.
Discord.
I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. That I think yeah, you were getting packed the hell up. I ain't gonna lie to you. That shit was
Oh no,
nasty.
I'm talking about if me like scheduling myself,
Oh,
like like that, like shit like that. I ain't gonna lie, that is a waste of time.
yeah, no, niggas were packing you up that night though. But I mean, honestly though, like for real, like
But I wasn't, So again, I think because even that night, people think that I was like, I wasn't. I couldn't say anything because that's the same night I went to the TNT thing, and when I was in TNT, I had like really bad service, and then they also told us to cut off our phones. So when all this shit was being said, I genuinely didn't get the full effect until like 10. So it's not like I was like avoiding or not trying to talk to y'all or anything like that. But I'm talking about from a schedule standpoint. Like, yeah, I ain't gonna lie, probably not gonna be in Discord as often because to be honest, if you remember
oh,
me
I
when we were
remember. I for sure remember. Yeah,
no, but like when we went from HTC to BBU, like there was a stretch in which I wasn't there anymore, and it was because I was
yeah, yeah,
way more
and that's
focused on what I was doing.
and I will say like I think and this doesn't just pertain to you too. It just pertains to like a lot of people just viewing it, and more so just like when it comes to like life decisions and things that happen in life, it's very easy to just say like, oh, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this because this is what you're taught. But like when you live life and you step outside the like go into the real world, a lot of things can really change your opinion on type of things. Like I don't believe in cheating, but I'm not stupid enough to not know that people out here really do be doing it. Like it's not anything that's like, oh my God, you're the most evil person. No, like I've like it happens. Divorce happens, all that stuff happens like out there. So it's an unfortunate situation, but you know, you really just gotta like whatever mistakes you made, and this is outside of just like cheating and stuff like that. Whatever mistakes you made, you got to build back from that and try to be a better person, like you said you're trying to be. So, yeah, man. Easy, man. Try to make sure you're good. That's all that really matter, man.
Um,
Real, I want
okay.
to say something to you. Reflecting back on on this situation. I've been on a couple of platforms with you and cracked a few jokes about the situation. Um, but now reflecting on it and seeing that when it happened, you didn't uh, immediately like turn this into any kind of content or something. So this obviously was a serious situation for you. So I do want to say if I ever offended you or anything like that, my apologies. And secondly,
How about this? What since this is recording,
what's up?
because I want to be clear. I was never really concerned about that still might be a bad thing. I'm not really concerned about me being offended. It's more so the woman I was in a relationship with. So as I say what I'm about to say now, if there are apologies, please don't send it to me. Don't send them to me. I'm the nigga who did wrong, so don't send them to me. You can send the apologies to her. I accept the apologies in terms of like being the person in a relationship and shit like that, but not it's not really offensive to me. I understand the way that we talk, you making fun of me in some regards is you holding me accountable. You know what I'm saying? So I get that. But if anybody does want to apologize, don't apologize to me. I already know what I did wrong. It's the please apologize to her.
And secondly, I was gonna say, it could be another form of discipline. Maybe that could be worked on. A lot of times, sometimes people think that because they're diligent at work, um, or very hardworking, that they have good discipline, which is true. But there are multiple forms of discipline. You have discipline that um, allows you to continuously get done what you should get done, which you clearly have that discipline. But there's another discipline of resisting things that you should be doing. Um, so maybe that's just maybe another view um, of that same word that sometimes we all can get misconstrued, and sometimes one even feeds into the other. So that's just another way of looking at some things.
Fair point. Fair point. Yo, Davis, brother
My
Davis.
boy, legend of winning in this bitch. What's up, man? How you doing, man?
What up with you? Who was that? Who was that in your profile pic?
It's one of my very powerful friends.
I thought that was Pete for a
Nah, it's
second.
not Peter. How you doing, though, bro?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well,
So what
brother.
is this? Is this like
Davis, do you think he would have found? Do you think he would have cheated if he found God?
no, because even if you find God, you can sin, you can make mistakes. I talk to God every day. I make mistakes every day. I think the most important thing is to learn from your situation, acknowledge what went wrong, take full accountability and responsibility, and see how you can grow and become a better man yourself. And hopefully that's the direction you're moving in. Um, as funny as they are, I'm never going to sit here and beat down or reinforce what you've heard 100 times. I'd be lying if I didn't save or send a few the Grizzly Bear memes. But ultimately, I might get pulled over. Fuck. Ultimately, um, I think if you use this as an opportunity to better yourself, then hopefully you won't, find yourself down a path like that again. You know, and that's what it's up. It is what it is at this point. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, brother. As you before I wrap up the space, any just because of what Real Talk just says. Well, anything y'all want to say to her or anything like that or what?
Is she in here?
She's not here. I gotta go. She's not in the
I
space. I gotta go
I
grab her.
I don't know her. I have nothing to say.
You gotta go
I ain't
what?
got nothing.
You better go talk to her.
I would have to go. I gotta go grab her, but I just since we here because I don't.
Grab
Me
Is
being
there
in space is also taking up a lot of time. So
Hit.
I don't want
is,
to
is there
I'm a,
mess
any
up the
potential?
scheduling that I had situated.
Well, let me ask you a question. Is there any chance of this thing being rekindled?
Are you asking me that, or you want me to go grab her? Or are you just asking me specifically?
I mean, if you can grab her, that would be cool. I am curious, but
Do you
I don't
think
know.
For
like Lo? So you remember that one time you were
hold
like
on.
you
All
almost
right, Holly,
fought
you can
some.
answer, but I'll be right back. Hold on. But you can. You can. I'm gonna still have you. I'm still listening to what you're saying.
Oh, okay. So there was a space we had where you were like you almost fought somebody over her. Where like do you think like those emotions were like coming from projection from what you were doing behind closed doors?
Yeah, I would. No, I don't. I don't think it's maybe, but I also just think that I would have been upset about that regardless. So, yeah, it could be. I'm pretty sure that played a part of it, but I also know I just would have been upset about stuff like that anyway.
I'm about to
Can,
leave. I'm about to leave. Call me when you
I'll
get a
call.
chance
I'll
to.
call. Give me like 5 minutes. I'm about to get off, and I'll call you.
This cap.
Oh wow. All right. So to answer Davis's question, my main focus after this is to just better myself and become a better person, and if that is that down the path that lends us to be back in a relationship, I am without a doubt 100% open for that to still be on the table. Um, me being in a relationship with her. was great enough for me to know that that still could be a possibility, and I would without a doubt be open up to it. However, I kind of feel like I'm not in place to answer that question because I'm the one who did wrong. So I'm gonna ask her right now: Is there a possibility? David said about a possibility of rekindling our relationship. That's what David said.
Yeah. Is she there to answer that, or were you just speaking that?
No, I'm here now. As of right now, I say no. So that's my answer.
Okay. Well,
Only I say that because um I feel like unlike Marcel, I've been in relationships. My relationship before him was 5 years. And I no longer want to waste my time, and I just don't want to. I personally feel like I could be with someone who I feel like respects me and stuff, and I mean, obviously, like any woman would feel, I'm afraid that if I get back in a relationship with him, he could say, he changed like he did after the therapy the first time, and then it just happened again. So I'm fearful. So I say that right now. I mean, I don't know what life may bring along, but I
yeah,
mean,
nah,
I'm. Hmm.
nah, I completely understand where you're coming from. I mean, is there anything that can be said? Is there any actions that can be done? Is there any level of boundaries that need to be broken or added in order for trust to be regained? Like, what if And I'm just spitballing here, just because I'm more so curious about how something like that can grow back.
Yeah, no, I understand. That's a good question. I guess, I guess again, I would say no, only because we tried that. Like we spent a year and a half of him trying to rebuild my trust, and he gained it because I've had people ask me, "Well, did you ever retrust him?" I retrusted him again 100%, and then that's what hurt even more is that it's like we spent all this time building it back up. I got back to 100%. We did these things where whatever with the phone or with whatever we did, him checking in with me and stuff like that, and then you just never know, people can still do stuff. So I tried that and it
What?
still didn't work.
I'm sorry. Quick question. Are y'all together right now? I didn't see your profile. I don't know.
No, but I still live
No, no, no,
with.
not together, not together. I mean, like in the like how are you speaking right now? Is my question.
Yes, we're in the same household.
Oh, okay. I was all right. Um,
How has
This
that dynamic been? How's like dinner at night?
Hollis said, "How is that dynamic?" And you know who Hollis, right? You've seen Hollis, right?
I mean, I think he's been in one space. I mean,
No, no,
I
in
think.
real life, he lives in Atlanta. He's been around us.
Oh, I don't.
Right.
I don't
Hollis
think I've
said,
met her.
Huh? What'd you say, Hollis?
I said I don't think I met her.
Oh, okay. Hollis said, "How is that dynamic been?" And I'm in like another. I told Omar 5 minutes, so I got to call him in a second. So, what is the? He said, "How is the dynamic? How has that been?" Hold on, Davis. Can you mute your mic real quick?
Yeah, my phone.
Yeah, you got it. He said,
What
"How is
as
that
in us
of us
living
living
there?
together?" Yeah.
Uh, I mean, it's kind of just like a roommate situation. I think it is. I think that he works, I do my thing, and then at first, we sleep separately, and that's it. I mean, it's not weird. It definitely is. I mean, I'm looking for my own spot and everything like that. So I'm looking for my own place, and we're making the adjustments for me to like move out because it can. I mean, it is weird living with your ex at the end of the day. So
Heard
all
you.
right.
Well,
This is my last question. This is my
I was
last.
say one more question,
Well,
and
yeah.
I gotta
Okay.
go.
So y'all still live together? Is making sure I get everything. Y'all still live together?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
okay. Well,
All right.
God bless both of you all. I hope you
Yeah,
guys
for
come to a
sure.
peaceful, no matter the outcome. I pray for a peaceful resolve between you two and understanding. And no matter what we say, God will decide. And I hope you all have a peaceful night. God bless.
All right, my brother. I'll catch y'all
Yo,
later, man. I do.
yo,
I'm
look.
sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry I do that because I told Omar 5 minutes. It's been 5 minutes. I gotta go call him, deal with some family business. But I thank y'all for coming out. I'll see y'all later, man. Peace, peace.
peace.